Hey everybody, happy Sunday to all of you beautiful people. Today is Sunday, September 19th, 2021. It's another day that the Lord has made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it. And we are back for another season, another episode is what people call it, for Speak Life. And a lot of people say excited. I'm trying to find a different word than excited. I looked up some before and then I forgot them, but like exhilarating, um overjoyed, overwhelmed, if that's a word. Well, that is a word, but if that's how we'll describe today. So for those of you who are new to the platform, my name is Simone Walden, the student teacher. I help educators and leaders tell their stories through written and verbal communication. I'm a coach and morale specialist. Now I go back into schools and organizations to assess the culture and help build morale. I'm a speaker, I'm a book publisher, I'm a coach, and I am an author. And so I'm excited to be hosting Speak Life. I shared earlier on my post for those of you who are watching. So some of you tune in from my actual regular Facebook page and the student teacher page. So typically we do it on the student teacher page. Today I stream to both platforms. So make sure you come on over to the student teacher page, engage, follow, like, and share, because that's what we'll be predominantly going forward. Shauna babes, how you doing? And so in, I believe in 2017, 2018, I forget the year, but I was in the Maryland Vehicle Administration trying to get a new license from North Carolina to Maryland. And as I was sitting and waiting, it was like so many people, probably 100 people. I was like maybe 89, because it puts the number of person that you are in line is probably maybe like 89. And so while I sat there, God started downloading to me this segment called Speak Life, which was a Facebook Live. And initially started with family and friends to come on and share and to speak life of people who knew Simone, who know me outside of the professional and the career and the speaking and all those things. And it's just evolved over time. And so back in June, when I did I Am Enough conference with Dr. Sherwood and Les Brown, I share a story that I had never shared publicly, which is about my aunt, one of my aunts, my youngest aunt on my mom's side, who died of breast cancer. And one of the sweet ladies, hey, Aunt Sheila, one of the sweet participants inboxed me like, that same day or maybe like after. And she was like, wow, it resonated with her because she's an oncologist nurse. And for those of you who don't know what oncologist nurse means, it means she is a nurse who predominantly works with patients with cancer. And so what I shared resonated with her. And then we talked, and then I was on a podcast, and then by the end I was in tears. I might be in tears today. I don't know. But she's in addition to what she does in her career, she also is a stress solution strategist. So she helps you deal with your stress. And for a lot of people, stress and anxiety and fear are a lot of the root causes of a lot of diseases that we have. Bitterness, unforgiveness is a root cause to a lot of the things that we see manifest in our bodies. And so I'm excited to have her here. I'm going to share just a little bit of my story, and then I'm going to bring Wendy out because I'm ready for her to come. She's looking beautiful. She sounds great. I can't wait for her to come out here and talk to you guys. She got like a beautiful smile. So I'm excited for her to come out here with you guys. But probably back in, I don't know, 2011 maybe. Aunt Sheila, you can help me with the date. But I remember when my aunt, her name is Sharon, we go by the Turner girls, right? Even though I'm a Walden, I'm a Turner girl at heart. But she had been diagnosed with breast cancer, and everybody had pulled in and was helping out. And so I moved back home for a season so I can kind of help out, taking her to her doctor's appointments when I could, going spending the night when I could, just doing what I could. And I remember one I had to give her a bath, and she was just shaking her head like, Boo, I never thought you would be giving me a bath. And I was like, I never thought I'd be giving you a bath either. And I know it was uncomfortable for me, and it was uncomfortable for her, but it was something that we just had to do at the time. And I remember seeing her breast, and it was very enlarged, and it was like, wow. And I remember when I first came back home that the Lord told me, he says, I was taking a nap. And I woke up kind of like in a vision, and it was like a black crow over I think it was my left or right. I can't remember. And he says, tell your aunt she needs to forgive. And so I'm laying across the bed like, okay. but I never did. Because it's like, how do you go and tell somebody, somebody you love, like, well, God says you need to forgive. And then remember, this was July. And I never told her that. And then October, she transitioned. And my aunt is up here. And I've shared this story with them personally before. But I'm sharing it now because I want this episode to speak life tonight, to help some of you, to free some of you, to get some of you who may be stuck in places of unforgiveness, that may be stuck in places of bitterness and anger with people, your family members, with something that somebody did, whether it's, personal, whether it's in your career, so you could be free, so you don't have to go through the things that people go through a lot of times. And so after she passed away, my aunt could tell you that the week leading up to that, one night I was with my aunt, probably like a week so before she passed away, and she no longer could talk. She was just kind of in the bed. And I remember she woke up, and it was a Friday night. I stayed there, and she was screaming like, "It's a fire! It's a fire!" And I'm like, "There's no fire." But she couldn't walk, but she got up, was pulling up on that bed rail to get up. And I helped her go into the living room. And that's when she's like, wow, like the fire is gone. And I felt like God was dealing with my aunt even then. And then my aunt that's up here now can tell you that the following week that she just started crying out and asking people to forgive her, and that she was saying she was sorry. And when that all happened, it was like, wow, God told me to tell her she needed to forgive. But I believe he gave her a chance to get it right before she transitioned. That was a Sunday. And then on that Wednesday, she transitioned. And so this is very near and dear to my heart. So I pray tonight that those of you who hear it will be convicted if you need to. And sometimes we listen to messages and think that, oh, it's for so-and-so, and somebody should hear that. I know a lot of people said about me, somebody should have heard that message, right? Well, if you're here tonight, if you're here watching this on the replay, this is for you. It's not for somebody else. It's even for me. Like, I always have to be a first partaker and recipient of the things that I share with you guys up here. So it's not just it's for all of us to be able to do an introspective look and say, you know what? If this is something that I'm dealing with, then let me get free of that so I don't have to go through these things. And to kind of summarize up how me and Wendy connected was, after my aunt passed away, my mom had some of her documents, and I found one day it was a yellow carbon copy. It was a DNR order, and I didn't know what that was until I seen it. But what it was a do not resuscitate. My aunt had already decided that as this was going down here, I remember the day the doctor sent her home from Chapel Hill. It was me and her, where it was like, there's nothing else we could do. Hospice is coming in. There was a very long ride back home. And I guess probably that day, maybe she signed it, not real sure. But she had already determined in her mind that, you know what I'm going through right now here is not the life that I want to live. And I thought that she received her healing once she got to heaven, but she doesn't need that body there, right? She needed a healing here, and she needed her miracle here. But in the end, she passed away. And so this doesn't have to be your story. This doesn't have to be the story of your loved ones. And so I pray today that whatever Wendy says will be a blessing to all of you beautiful people. I'm about to bring her out. I got to get my mic going real quick so I can introduce her in style, because she is we gonna talk, but I know it's going to be real good. So let me get my microphone going real quick. So all of you who are watching, those who catch the replays, if you can give it up, clap in the comments. Welcome to episode, I don't know what episode it is, but season 4. Our first guest for Speak Life is Miss Wendy. Woo! How are you doing?
Hello. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for that introduction. Your story just took me back to the first time I heard your voice. That really spoke life into me personally. So thank you.
Thank you. So I'm gonna do a official introduction of who Miss Wendy Garvin Mayo is, because she is a professional woman who knows what she's talking about, and she does this work. And I was so intrigued with, with the fact that she does that, because I was able to witness firsthand what those nurses do for patients who have cancer. And so it was like, wow, this lady's in the trenches every day. And I know that cannot be easy. And so again, I want to say thank you so much for what you do and how you care for people who, when you care for them, they really don't have the strength to really care for themselves. And, one of the greatest things that we found was that it was very nice and caring professional nurses and doctors who took care of my aunt, who took care of my friend. And so I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you do, for the patients that you have. So if they never came and tell you, I'm pretty sure they tell you thank you, but I want to say thank you from a family who has had this experience. Thank you so much. And so Miss Wendy Garvin Mayo is a board certified. Listen, guys, she board certified. Like, I used to teach, right? Well, decided to take, so I don't teach anymore. Like, June was my last year teaching. So after 16 years of teaching, I said, we're going to do something different, right? But national board certified, that means you take it to another level, right? So you could be a teacher, or then you could be nationally board certified. So Wendy, she is board certified adult nurse practitioner. She's a stress solution strategist and author, and a certified John Maxwell international speaker. I love myself some John Maxwell. I heard him speak one time, Wendy, and this is what he said. And I don't remember anything else he said, but I remember this. He says, whenever you meet somebody, you always say, who do you know that I need to know? And it's truly come by connections that I met so many amazing people. And even like you, how like I met you. So I'm excited about that. Wendy's also, she's a coach and she's a trainer. Her mission is to empower nurses to adopt stress management solutions so they can amplify their personal and professional development. Wendy is also the founder of the Nurse Wellness Mentorship, the creator of the Nurse Wellness Hub, and a host of the Nurse Wellness Podcast. And so I'm going to put all of her information in here at the end. So connect with Wendy. My aunt is up here. Wendy, she's saying hello. My other cousin, Lashina, is up here. These are my family members, so they understand what I was saying about my aunt. And so I would say again, from the bottom of my heart, we appreciate what you do. So just to kind of get started, what made you decide that you wanted to go into the healthcare field of all fields?
Yes. So when I was younger, my mom worked in a hospital, and she actually worked as a transporter and a housekeeper. And I remember going to the hospital with her and seeing the nurses. And I always just admired the nurses, right? They had their white shoes, their white outfits on, and just caring for the patients. So that was my first introduction to nursing and healthcare. And then when I got into high school, I said, this is exactly what I need to be doing. We had these different pathways. You can go into social justice, health professions, and I don't know what the other one was, but I said, I'm doing health professions. So that's how I was introduced to it. I became a certified nursing assistant early on. I think I was a junior in high school. And I'm a certified nursing assistant working, a job because I've worked for a long time. And that was really my introduction to healthcare in general. Mm-hmm. And then from there, I just fell in love with that.
Wow, that is so cool, right? When you were saying the white shoes and white coat, it reminds me of the church ushers, who they have on their white or they black and white sometimes. Because I never liked, I guess I don't like the hospital. I don't like the fact. I guess I don't like pain and being around people who are sick, and the hospital used to freak me out. Oh God. So bless you so much. Wow. So how long have you actually been a nurse?
So I've been a nurse. I graduated from nursing school in 2004. And then I went back to school to get my master's to become a nurse practitioner. And I graduated in 2010. But I've been in nursing since junior year of high school. So I've always been integrated in the healthcare system. So for a very, very, very long time.
Yeah. Wow. So it's been imparted inside of your DNA. Absolutely. So the first time, what was one of your first experiences when you went into the healthcare field? Did you ever do because I know it was something called Candy Stripers. We used to have that. I don't know. I didn't do that, but did you? And what was your first experience actually being inside the hospital, assisting or working?
Yeah, so my first experience was actually in a nursing home. I worked as a CNA, a certified nursing assistant in a nursing home, helping the elderly with their care, their ADLs, activities of daily living, like bathing them, walking them. And then my first experience in the hospital was as a dietary aide. I worked in dietary food service, right? But I have to tell you, even working in dietary, I was always so excited to go on the floors and deliver the trays to the patient. That was like my thing. That was my thing. Like, and it was just something about it. It's just something about, interacting with the patient who's in the hospital. Even back then, and even like now I'm thinking about it now, it's kind of like, it's such a special opportunity to engage someone at that point in their lives. You know what I mean? So that was like my favorite part of, going to work, preparing food. But I'm like, no, I'm going to the floors. I'm delivering the trays to the patients, So that was like my thing. Totally.
I love that. Yeah. And what I see is like how you start with your growth. Like you start off a nurse assistants in junior year in college. My aunt said she delivered trays too. Oh, Sheila, I know you deliver trays. a CNA, right? So you start off in a nursing home, then you went to the hospital to deliver trays, but you knew you wanted to be there. Like, and sometimes people like bypass the process. I used to be one who I wanted to bypass all kinds of processes, right? Right. But it's like you went through the process to get to exactly where you are now. And so like I appreciate that like so much. And the fact that you didn't look at it as if I'm just delivering trays, but I am stepping in at a point in someone's life. I remember when I was in the hospital, maybe a couple of years ago, unexpectedly for like a whole week, like I was, when you don't get a lot of, and it wasn't COVID then. So when you didn't get a lot of traffic or a lot of people wasn't coming, you just don't want people to know. When you saw those nurses like you, it was like you were happy to see somebody. And so the fact that you were as happy to interact and to see there and be there, because I know people say like teaching is a calling, but I believe being a nurse is also a calling. I don't think this is for the faint of heart. I don't think that, if you don't have the heart in it, you won't last long. So kind of just take us through your journey, anything you want to share about being a nurse, and then tell us how you transitioned to become an oncologist nurse. Because I know that was like,
yeah. So, that story, becoming an oncology nurse, is so close to my heart, actually. So I was a nurse. I that was a motivation. So I worked in the hospital as, CNA, as a dietary aide. I worked in a nursing home as a CNA, and that was my mission. So I want to be a nurse. So that was my motivation to get through high school, get good grades. And I was so pumped to go to college. I was like, I'm going to college. And now being a nurse, you can go to a 2-year degree program or a 4-year degree program. So I'm like, I'm going for 4 years because, I want to further my education, right? I was always that person, right? Very like, I want to go to school, get grades, do it right. So, right. Motivation. I said, I want to be a nurse. And I always say that now, like, the young people who are in high school, like, what do you want to be? Like, go out there and explore, right? So do you have some motivation, some oomph to kind of, get going, right? And stay on the journey. Yeah. So I graduated from high school, got accepted to a school in Connecticut. That's where I reside now. Went there for 4 years. It was the hardest 4 years of my life. I can tell you that, right? Even going to school for my master's, and now I'm in school for my doctorate degree. The 4 years of nursing school was the hardest 4 years of my life. Wow. Now, with that said, being a junior in nursing school, that's when we started our clinical practice. Okay. And I was like, okay, well, we're going to doing clinical. I had my stethoscope, right? Had my stethoscope, my white uniform, right? We had to wear uniforms, and I was ready to go. I had my bag. So I was that student. I was that student, right? So our first clinical was on an oncology unit. Oh, wow. And, at that time, I wasn't really aware of cancer. My mom worked on a cardiac unit, with the monitor, the people who had heart problems. Mm-hmm. So going to oncology, I didn't really understand it. So I had a patient, I remember him vividly, an African-American man who had metastatic pancreatic cancer. He had, I think, 11 kids, but he had like double-digit kids, and he was dying. And he was my patient for the day. He was jaundiced, his eyes were yellow, a lot of pain. But what I took from that situation, when I left that clinical day, I knew that I was going to be an oncology nurse. And that just motivated me to propel me forward. But I'll tell you what it was. It was really, and that's when I really realized that it's an honor for me, Wendy, to be sitting in your presence right now, who is dying from cancer. And I am here to do my best, to give you my best, so you can transition the best way you know how. And it's such an honor. Like, I'm getting chills just even thinking about it. Yeah. But oncology is that. When you're dealing with patients and families, you are in their space. They don't want to be there, right? But they're there. So for me, my job is to make that the best experience possible for you. Yeah. So that was my journey into oncology. And I graduated, and to be honest, I didn't really go into oncology. I signed up to go into oncology, but it didn't work out that way. I worked on a surgical unit, but I always had well, that's a whole nother story. I went into a residency program where, you're hired for oncology, but you have to do some hours on another floor. And then, so I ended up staying on the floor that I was rotating on and all of that. But oncology was always in my heart. So I found my way back to oncology, and that motivated me to go on to get my master's, to be a nurse practitioner, because I wanted to do more for oncology patients. But oncology is just, it's really my passion. It really just, and it's not just the patients. I know you said your aunt's on here and even you, but it really is a holistic approach, right? So that patient who I was taking care of with metastatic pancreatic cancer, it wasn't just him. It was all his kids, even whether they were there or not. Yeah. Right? His family members, his sisters, his brothers, his girlfriend at the time, right? But all of those individuals were my patients. Yeah. Because they're part of him, right? So it becomes really a holistic approach on how do you help people, like you said with your aunt, right? Forgiveness. Like, what is it? What is it that you need to rest? What do you need to rest?
I want to give you a big hug, like, through this computer. Like, oh my gosh. Wow. Whew. Wow. That takes a call. And I believe that definitely takes a call. And so as you have been doing this for some time, and you've developed your stress solution, different things you help people with stress. What are some things, one, you do for yourself to make sure you don't become overwhelmed? Because I know dealing with this and seeing this on a daily basis, that as being human beings, sometimes it can take a toll on you, and it may affect you in different ways. So what are some things that you personally do, and some things that even nurses can do to take care of themselves, so when you come back the next day, that you do continue to present yourself and help people transition the best way they can?
Yes. So the first thing is knowing your why, your purpose. I'm very big on purpose, right? So many times we're just doing things and we forget why we're doing it. And I'll tell you the story of how I became the stress solution strategist. Last year during the pandemic, it was very stressful time. I was a new mom, new wife, had my elderly mom here. And of course, COVID was out there killing people, right? And I actually was doing cancer research at home full time. And when the pandemic hit, I transitioned back and I went back into the clinics to take care of cancer patients.
Wow.
So that was very stressful. And it was stressful because in my heart, I know I wanted to be there. But it was all the external factors. My mom, she was not supportive of me going back to the hospital because I have a son, right? And it was COVID. And I'm like, in my heart, I feel it here. I need to be there. But that was my why. So knowing your why is very important. And the reason it's important to know your why is so you're aligned. And when you are aligned, things can't really stress you that much. Because you are walking in purpose. I'm getting chills. You're walking in your purpose. And I'll have to tell you this. When I made that decision to go back to the hospital to take care of cancer patients, I don't even know what's moving me right now. Everything I'm doing, and the only thing I can think of is that I'm aligned. I'm doing things that I never thought I would be doing. in terms of supporting nurses, supporting cancer caregivers. But it's really, and it feels right. And I'm walking in my purpose. I'm walking in my purpose. And another thing, once you figure out your purpose, take time to yourself to reevaluate. Are you still on the right path? Are you still on the right path? And the third thing is in terms of stress, because we all get stressed. I'm not saying I live a stress-free life at all, but it's truly understanding what you can control and what you can't control, right? While still being on your journey, which is your purpose. So really understanding that, because sometimes we're walking in our purpose and things will pop up. People will pop up, right? Trying to throw you off. But if you are aligned, no one can throw you off. And I think you were talking about something about forgiveness and fear and all of this stuff. So I always tell people, don't give anyone your power. Don't hand your power over to people. And the nurses I mentor, I tell them that all the time. You have the power to be brilliant and touch so many lives in this world. But you can't do that if you're handing your power over to someone else. You can't do that. So understanding how powerful and brilliant you are, that will keep your stress levels pretty low.
I love all of this. Like, oh gosh, like, know your why and make sure you align. And for like probably 12, 13 years, I knew I was aligned with teaching in the school system. But then these last 3 or 4, I realized, God, we're going in a different path. And I had to really have a resolve, and I had to reevaluate and say, okay, what's the next step and where you're taking me with my purpose? Because it's still in education, it's still in teaching, but it's just transitioning out of the classroom. And so as you were saying, I was trying to type, and it's like, wow, she's like you're like spot on. And that whole thing you just said about not giving people your power, like I had to learn that way, and I'm still learning that, like in a lot of ways. It's like it's not even worth it for, you being stressed out about certain, to a large degree, of course, like you said, like we all get everyday stress things. But giving people power when you upset or you mad or you holding on to stuff, it's like most of the time people are really going on with their lives, and then you're kind of like stuck. So it's like, man, that's so good. That's so good. And the fact that even in the pandemic, your purpose was called and said, we need you. Like, I'm just listening to you. I'm not claiming no kind of sickness, but anybody who ever gets you in Connecticut hospital is going to have an amazing experience. I know that for sure. To even say, I got to go back and help. That's how you know when it's your call. Like, you're really working in your purpose. And you can see that even now, like, oh gosh. And then the fact that you don't even look at it as if, like, I'm this nurse, you got to come in here, I take these meds, do whatever, but you look at it as it's an honor for me to be in your presence. Do you know the level of humility that takes to say, yep, I went to school for 4 years. I went back and got my master's degree. It was a hard transition. I had to study, I had to do all these things, but it's an honor for me to be in your presence. Like, oh God, may God continue to just pour his blessings upon you more and more and more, because I'm telling you, like, oh gosh. Oh man. So,
well, I'm a servant. I'm a servant. And, I talk a lot about personal development, but I develop myself so I can better serve people, right? That's why we're in this world. We're not in this world alone. Well, I'm not in this world alone. I'm in this world to serve people. And, I initially thought it was just patients, but I'm in this world to serve just people in general, right? And I've learned that. And COVID has been a really interesting phenomenon, or lived experience. And, one of the terms that I discovered in the midst of COVID is post-traumatic growth, post-traumatic disorder, right? PTSD, we all hear about that. But what that tells me is that anytime we are we come upon challenges in our lives, we have a choice. We have a choice on how we respond, not react, right? And many times we react. We don't respond, and that's retaining your power. When you can respond, you have your power. But we have a choice on what we do with all of this. We have a choice, and you can be depressed, you can be stressed, or you can say, what can I do? What can I do? And everyone, I don't care how old, how young, what degree you have, what degree you don't have, if you have breath in your body, you can make a difference. You can make a difference. And I always say, I call it the added value. We all have an added value to impact this world. And when I say impact the world, I mean the people in this world. Impact and influence people in this world. And it's our responsibility because we're people. We are people. And what good is it if you have an added value, you have skills that you keep for yourself? What good is it? So all my degrees and my certifications don't mean anything if I am not impacting people with it. And everyone who's watching, you have an added value that people need.
You know how they say mic drop. It's like my heart is so overwhelmed, plus the mic drop too. It's like, wow. So guys, listen. Wendy said she worked with nurses, but she can help you too. So if you need some help with your stress solution, I'm telling you to reach out to her. Like, it's like, you know, like it's so much you want to say, but then you become like so overwhelmed. It's like, oh, man. Oh,
yeah. Well, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was saying, go ahead. What? Anything else?
I was going to say, yeah, I help nurses because nurses are so needed, right? And I know the power of nurses. And as you know, all of you probably know, we're in crisis right now. And the pandemic, nurses are leaving the bedside. You know, the shortage, the stress, the burnout. It's a real thing that's going to impact all of us. All of us and our families. So that even motivates me more to help nurses tap into their brilliance and their added value, because the world need us. Our hospital can't run without nurses, right? If you go to the hospital and there's no nurse, what happens? Nothing is happening.
Yeah.
So that's one reason that motivates me too to work with, you know, with my tribe, I call them, right? My colleagues, my nurses, is to really remember your purpose. Remember why you're here, right? It's not easy to get here. Remember why you're here, and remember how you can impact not only patients, but the system, right? Like I said, the world. You know, but when you're stressed and you're burnt out, you can't function. And that's for everyone, right? You can't function. You're not thinking straight, right? And stress don't only impact your mental and physical health, but it impacts your ability, your brilliance, as I call it. It impacts your brilliance that you have, right? So we have to know how to manage our stress, understand why we're stressed, manage it so we can be brilliant and impact the world. That's what it is at the end of the day. That's really the bottom line, is everyone has the ability to impact this world with their brilliance and their added value. And that's my motivation. I want to help you decrease your stress, figure it out, get aligned, right, with that purpose, and contribute to the world. Yeah.
It's so good. Oh my gosh. If you could give just one way, or what's one sign? Because sometimes people may be stressed and they may not, I don't know, maybe they don't know, or what's one, I would say, obvious or maybe not obvious way that somebody is stressed and they really need to kind of like get some solutions to it?
Yeah, so it shows up differently for everyone. So I look at stress as you're imbalanced. Okay. And you know where you feel it? Right here in the gut. Right here at the top, right here. You know it's right here. It's not gonna like pop up. You feel it right. It doesn't matter how beautiful you look, right? How much makeup you have on, how much jewelry, how much money's in your bank. It's right here. And after you look at all that and you do all the glitz and glamour and all this and that, it's still right there. So you know when you have that imbalance in your life. And I always think about it in terms of, many times, even like now with social media, so many people are so caught up on being liked.
Yeah.
Being liked. But do you like yourself is the question. That's the question. Do you like yourself? Are you balanced? What does balance mean to you? That's when you know you're stressed. When things are out of whack. I always say it's an imbalance, and it's always just trying to really find that balance, whether it's in, your physical health, whether it's in your financial health, whether it's in your spiritual health, whether it's in your emotional health, your social health, right? Your community, your relationships. What's the imbalance? And many times it's the people. I'm big on community. Who do you surround yourself with? Who's in your space? Who has access to your energy? Who has access to your brilliance? Right? So always assessing your community, and even family too, not just friends, but family too, right? Are people feeding you is important. And are you balanced? Are they trying to help you stay in balance? Or are those the people that are there people that are keeping you out of balance? Every time you talk to them, it's just kind of like, oh, I'm drained. That's an imbalance. You need people to pour into you so you can balance out, right? But really, you're stressed when there's an imbalance in your life. And that imbalance can be, also your expectation of yourself. So understanding what your purpose is, what you want, what you need in order to feel full, that's very important, right? Because everyone's balance is a little different. You have to understand what you need, where you are. Are you full? What does that look like to you? Answer those questions. A lot of people, we don't take time to answer those questions. We kind of poo-poo it and kind of move on. But I always, encourage people to create gaps in your day. Create gaps in your day where you're able to process and reset and really understand, am I moving in the right direction? Do I need to shift? Am I balanced? Am I imbalanced? What do I need to do? Who do I need to reach out to? Right? So really just taking time to assess your life, where you are and where you want to be, and figure out a plan to get there.
I keep saying this, but this is like so freaking good. Like, and when you said like, it's right here, that's why I was like, because it's like, I felt that so many times where it's just like something right here. You like, I'm like, man, what is this? But then it's like, I get it now. And I love when you said create gaps in the day so you can assess as you go. Because I know for me, for a long time, I would just stuff. And I never talked about them. I became mean and angry. And then, I would either drink or smoke or go sleep. Or I would do all these things because it was like an outlet for me, really. But it was just adding more of these gut feelings that I had that I was not dealing with. So, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's a real thing. And I want to just say this, that, even though I'm talking about balance and stress and purpose, I understand that people have history, right? Everyone has a history of how they were raised. Everyone's, wasn't raised the same. People may have been violated, right? People may be dealing with mental illness. Despite all that, you still have the power locked in you, and you're still capable, right? Those things don't define you. They don't define you, right? Sometimes people use them as excuses to play small, so to speak, right? But I know that you are brilliant. You have an added value, and we need you now, regardless of your past. We need you now.
So guys, I don't know if y'all like yes, like, because while she's pointing, I'm like, she's talking to me. I know y'all love me, but she's talking to me. So I hope you guys are picking up what she putting down today. Wendy, as I was listening to you talk, and my aunt could probably verify it, but I have a cousin. Her name is Juanita, but she lives in New York. And the more I kept looking at you, I was like, you look like her. Like, you look like her. Like, oh God. So, man, this has been like phenomenal. It was more than what I thought. I knew that this would be different. I knew that, you would share some really good things. And I mean, it has exceeded what I thought. And from the bottom of my heart, I say thank you so very much. You are welcome to come back on Speak Life anytime you want to. If you want to say, hey, let's do it, I'll check my calendar so we can make sure we do it. Like, this has empowered me. This has blessed me beyond measure. There are lots of comments. Miss Crystal said, let me go back what Miss Crystal said. Miss Crystal, I don't want to miss your comment. You were talking about, like, you know, how that was your calling, I believe. She said, when a person transitions, it is ministry opportunity. Each time you get to be in the room, when the Spirit of God comes for his child, it's an honor. And then hashtag, can you feel him? Yeah. We can feel it, Miss Crystal. And then Miss Joy said, this is good. My aunt said, exactly. Hey, Melissa. Miss Joy says, come on now. Oh, yeah. One last thing, right? And then my aunt, she was clapping up. When you talked about, do you like yourself? I was just like, my God. Like that whole piece right there, it was like, wow. Like I used to be so close to becoming MD. When are you becoming an MD?
So I'll be a doctor of nursing practice. I'll have a doctorate in nursing.
Wow. Yes. So guys, when she get it, we're gonna come back on and we're gonna celebrate with her. Okay. So I'll let you know. I'm gonna keep asking, keep checking for her. I used to find myself very stressed on looking at social media and looking at what people were doing and all of that stuff. And so I know social media stress is like a real thing. And it's like, I had to unplug myself from that. Do you have any other suggestions for people who may have felt stressed based on social media and feel like they got to live up to something or some standards that may not even be real? Anything there you could say before we, kind of bring it to a close?
Yeah. So I what I would say is understand your standard for yourself. And are you full? That's the question. Are you? Because if you're full and you look at social media, it's like, oh, good. Like, we should be happy for our friends and family who are doing great, right? And not, oh, they think they're this, they think they that, or this isn't real. But, if they're doing good and you're like, oh, that seems interesting, reach out. Yeah. Reach out and connect, right? Opposed to not liking or just, whatever. But like, and that's the thing, we're all people, connect. Right? Because then you may reach out to the person who's in the picture with the baby and the waterfalls and all of that, and they're not doing that well. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's reach out, ask questions. The student teacher, we're always learning. There's always something to learn, right? Yeah. And I do want to just say one thing to bring it full circle. Everything I'm talking about in terms of purpose, alignment, filling yourself up, it really is preparing us for the time when we are in that bed. May not be cancer, but when it's our time, you don't want to have any regrets, right? We're not promised tomorrow. People always say that we're not promised tomorrow. We're not promised, the next hour. We're not promised all that. So now is the time. Not a 30-day plan, not a 90-day. Now, today, what can you do right now to help you align yourself? Because we never know when we're going to be in that bed and it's going to be the end for us. We're coming to the end. When you're in that bed, what do you want people to say about you? What do you want? And how are you going to leave your legacy, right? We think of legacy like Disney World, Mickey Mouse and all that, but your legacy, what added value, what impression are you leaving in this world? That's what we need to think about. And especially us who have, children or friends or sisters or brothers or what have you. What do you want people to say about you? So and I'm going to bring it full circle there, because that day is going to come for all of us. Yeah. It's going to come for all of us. So thank you so much for letting me round that out.
This is so good. Oh, man. Like, you see Miss Crystal, she says, hashtag the anointed nurse. Yes. She is definitely the anointed nurse. For real. For real. Wow. I'll share just this quick thing. I won't get into all the details because I never even told my mom about this. But when the last Sunday around this time, probably around this time, I think I told you that my dad's son passed away. So I was at the funeral in North Carolina. And then one of my friends came with me. I picked her up outside of Raleigh a little bit. And we was on our way back, and I wanted to stop and see my friend. One of them, she didn't answer. I called her, she answered. And one finally answered, and she said that she was going to tell me, I seen her in a while. She was going to tell me that, she was busy Sunday. She used to go hang out with her friend. And, she just, she was doing work, but God, Holy Spirit said to her, what if you don't see her again? And she's like, so that's when she told me, okay. So I hadn't seen her like 4 years. I went over there. We was talking. I got like hot. I started sweating. Then I was like, okay, can we go upstairs? We were downstairs. I was like, can we go upstairs? And by the time I got ready to walk to the stairs, I started to like feel myself just like go. And she was like, she held me. She's like, don't fall, okay? I said, okay. And then I blacked out. And when I came to, she was calling the paramedics. And I was like, why are you calling the paramedics? And then I'm sweating. And my other friend got out the car. It was just a whole big thing. But I say that like last week, it showed me just how precious life can be. And I've been more determined to say, God, I'm going to do what it is you called me to do. Because just within an instance, I could have been gone.
Yes.
And, from them telling, like, it was a very scary. She was like, Lord, don't let this girl down on my thing. Like, is this my last time? And so how you said, like, the bed, we're going to be in a bed one day. And so this has been such a rich conversation for me personally. And from all the comments, I know that other people were blessed. And I want to say thank you so much for what you do and how you serve and the grace that God has given you to go forward, and blessings upon you and your family and your son and everybody connected to you, because being connected to you, I believe in community that people's lives are better for it. And so I want to say again, thank you from all of what Suni has. I will let you close us out however you want to close us out, whatever you want to say at the end, guys. I'll post her social media information. Connect with her. If this was a blessing to you, which I know it was, send her a message. Like, let her know how this has enriched her life or some of the things that you have done. If you know of nurses that's in the healthcare field, definitely, tag them, comment, let them know, hey, there's somebody out here. Her name is Wendy Garvin Mayo, who can help them get their stress under control and to manage that. And also she serves families, especially in the oncologist cancer field. So thank you again. Ms. Joyce says such a blessing, definitely such a blessing. So Wendy, I will let you close us out.
All right. So what I will say to you all is that I know you house brilliance, you have an added value, and I want you to do something today towards your purpose. If you don't know what your purpose is, think about it. But what's your goal? What do you want to accomplish in this world? Because we are waiting on you. We, meaning the world. We are waiting on you today, not tomorrow, not in 30 days, not in 60 days, not in 90 days, but today. The world is waiting on you. So gain momentum now. And that's how I'll close this out.
You heard it here. Gain momentum now. Miss Joyce, definitely connect with her. You see her information here. Go to Facebook, connect with her. I'm definitely American Miss Chris. I'll tell y'all about that later. Like that, yeah. So listen, definitely connect with Miss Wendy. Thank you so much. Like, God bless. Stay on when we get ready to go off. Okay, so guys, listen, I'm gonna post the information. Good night, good afternoon, good morning to all of you. For those who catch the replay, God bless all of you. This is the Miss Crystal said, I don't know. This is the anointed nurse. Her name is Wendy Garvin Mayo. Okay, so see you guys. Good night.
Bye-bye. Thank you.